What's up, guys? Happy Monday. It is November 29th. Hopefully, you had a great Thanksgiving week or weekend, I guess. Black Friday. Today is technically Cyber Monday. And I just wanted to jump in here and kick our week off with a little Monday mindset. I did miss last week. Last week was the first week that I had missed Coffee Talk for a Wednesday and a Friday. And the reason was because I was out of town. I was in Clearwater, Florida at the AVP Nationals tournament. Awesome time. We had a great time and almost didn't get on here today because we got home very late last night on a 9-hour drive from, actually it was longer because of traffic and we had to get rerouted and it was just a little bit of a crazy ride home, but we got here safe and sound. And we had a great week. Got to spend Thanksgiving with some family because they live in Tampa. And then we were able to spend some evenings with them as well. But then we were able to do the whole beach volleyball thing for 3 days. And it was just awesome. A great experience. And just had a blast. So hopefully you guys had a great week. Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving if you're in the States and you celebrate Thanksgiving. But if not, hopefully you just had a great weekend. But today, what we are going to be talking about, and I'm going to kind of pull my notes up here a little bit. But what we're going to be talking about really is 2022. I know it's hard to say. It's hard to believe, actually. And we're going to talk about thinking and planning. Thinking and planning. And what I mean by that is, we need to start thinking about what 2022 is going to look like for us. And I'm going to give you a few things to think about, a little bit of a homework assignment today. So if you are listening to this after the fact, you can still do it before the first of the year. But we always kind of wait until we get to the first of the year. And then we're like, oh, New Year's resolution. Let's go ahead and do this new thing. And that's fine. But we can do that any time of the year, really. So that's what we're going to be talking about here on the Monday Mindset. I did want to see here real quickly, make sure that we are, in fact, broadcasting, and it looks like we are. Yeah. Hey, Karen. Good to see you. Good to see you. As always, Anthony, what's up? Cool. Anthony, what's up, man? Yeah, awesome. So you guys obviously can hear and see me, which is great. We've got some people coming in here now. So awesome. Yeah, let me know, too, in the comments. Where did you spend Thanksgiving if you went anywhere, or maybe you spent it at home? Where'd you spend your Thanksgiving? All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. We are going to keep this tight, like I always do on the Monday Mindsets. We're going to keep it to about 10 or 15 minutes, but I did want to kick your week off thinking about this and giving you something to do. So this way here, you can start thinking a little bit about 2022 and what that looks like for you. So you can start to do a little bit of planning. I'll kind of give you like my process and how I do it. And I've got this little story I'll share with you as well on how this relates to not just business. All right. So let's get rocking and rolling. Here we go. I'm going to kick this thing off so we can go ahead and air this on the podcast as well. So we're going to do a little timeout and we'll kick it in here. All right, guys, welcome back to another Monday Mindset. Today, I am fired up because, well, I am going to be discussing this new year that we got approaching. That is 2022, which is crazy. So we are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about thinking about the year ahead and then how to plan for it. How do we actually do that? And I'm going to give you a little bit of homework to do. So this way here, you can sit down and actually plan it out. But there's a couple questions you're going to have to ask yourself in order to do this, in order to actually plan it out. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, I am going to share a story with you also that I think will tie this all back and kind of how we can adapt this to any part of our life, not just business, which this will be obviously something to do with business. But let's go ahead and let's dig in, shall we? So the very first thing that we need to do is we need to do a little bit of reflection. We need to look back. We need to look back in time a little bit, the last 12 months, and say, hey, what did last year look like? And what do I want the new year to look like? And I don't mean look back and go, oh, look at all of the things I didn't do. I mean, that could be part of it because maybe there was things you said you were going to do, but you didn't actually do. And now you can kind of wipe the slate clean and kind of do it. But what do you want to achieve? But what we want to do is we want to look back and reflect on some of the things that we did that might have worked or that might have piqued our interest a little bit further because we were more interested in that. It's funny. We just finished up depending on when you're listening to this, we just got back from a tournament, a beach volleyball tournament in Clearwater, Florida. And it was awesome, by the way. And my daughter was there competing with her partner, and it was a blast. We had a great time. A lot of great players there in all divisions, but just a great time. But I had a chance to talk to it was our partner's father, and I was talking to him, and we just got jamming a little bit, and we've been partnered a couple other times, and so we had a chance to talk, but we never talked about business. We never talked about work or anything, and we just got talking, and come to find out that he's kind of dabbled in a lot of different things. eBay, Amazon, FBA. He's done some Etsy. He's done a little bit of everything. And so we just got talking about it. And then we started talking a little bit about just seasons in life and how, like 1 year you do something and then the next year you might tweak it and maybe focus on another area of that or maybe pivot completely. But it's something that we reflect on, right? It's something that we look back at. And him and I were talking, and it was like, sometimes we'll sit down and we'll go, okay, let's look at the last year. Let's look at everything that we were kind of, playing with, right? Like I say playing with, like kind of like what were we working on? What were we experimenting with? Or what were we focusing on? And what had the best ROI on our time? Or what were we most interested in? What gave us, pleasure? As far as like what we were working on, but then also what was the ROI? How much time did we spend and was it a good return on our time? And he was sharing a story on how he, started out years ago, kind of customizing these tumblers. And it was a lot of work. He was up to 2 a.m. in his garage and customizing these things for Etsy and everything. And then he started to think, well, maybe there's a better way. And the way is maybe I'll sell parts of these components that I'm modifying and customizing these tumblers, and maybe I'll be the guy that supplies the parts. And so that switched his focus to do something a little bit different, but the same thing in a sense. So we're always learning, we're always adapting, but we have to reflect. We have to reflect on what we did, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, or what the result was. Was it worth our time? So that's what we need to do. And just because you did Amazon FBA 5 years ago, like I did, well, actually it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, because we sold our last e-commerce brand, and now I'm more into the niche properties thing. It's how we evolved, right? The niche properties thing came because I reflected on what I did in that e-commerce brand on the content side and how I was making money, and it was easier than it was to sell inventory, physical products. So learn, adapt, reflect, all of those things. So I really want you to think about that this week. I want you to spend some time reflecting on not just what worked, but what you had the most interest in. Okay. And because that's all ultimately what's going to also help you stay interested so you continue to do the work. Right. And then we can start to ask ourselves, okay, what do we want to do in the upcoming year? So we have to identify what that is. And then from there, we need to focus on that and set the target for 2022. All right. And then we can break down what has to happen in those, quarters of the year. But we have to first identify that. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, well, after you've reflected, is kind of what is your 2022 going to look like? All right. What is it that you want? What is it that you want to focus on? And the one little bit of advice here I would give you is I would say, try to cut out some of the noise in 2022. I'm going to write an email probably, I don't know, this week or next week, because I'm getting bombarded, as you are probably, with just all of these different gurus that are, pitching on Facebook or Instagram or any of these other platforms. And there's just like, here's this way and here's that way. And there's all these different ways, right? And this one here's got a better way than this one and all of that stuff. And that's fine, but it distracts you. So what we need to do is Again, identify what we want to spend our time on, blinders on, and then focus on that. Right. And if we do that, your chances of succeeding will be greater, obviously, because you're not scattered. So we need to identify that. All right. And that's another thing that I would like you to do is identify what that thing is. And then we can set our sights on the target, create the target. All right. So what is it that you want to achieve? So reflect on the last year. Okay. And then let's identify what we want to focus on in 2022. Okay. So reflect and then identify, and then we can set those targets. And then what we want to do is we want to ask ourselves, how are we going to get there? Right? What is the path to get there? So you may just need to identify what that path is and go for it and do it. Do the work. You already know the work. I actually just read an email from a guy that he sent it to me, and he actually just joined our Brand Creators Academy, and he was saying that he's been following my stuff for a long time, and he says he's done a lot of different things. He goes, he loves starting things, but he doesn't love finishing things. And I mean, don't we all? Like the creative process or the research and the learning, we all love that. It's when you get into doing the nitty gritty is where we kind of fall short, right? Because we have to do the work. We're not going to see the results as much. But when we learn something, we consume it and then we learn it. We feel as though we've done something, which we have, but it's not until we actually implement it is when we get the result, right? So, I don't know where I was going with that other than just figure out what those steps are. And then from there, set them in a way that you're able to achieve them chunk by chunk or step by step. You don't have to do it all. So again, if I'm going to use niche properties, the things that we're building, our content sites, if we're looking at that, there's certain things that need to get done in order to do it, right? We have to number one, identify the niche, right? And then from there, we need to create a website that we can go ahead and start putting our content on. Then we have to do some keyword research, and then we have to write the content and publish the content and optimize it, and then repeat that process. That's what we need to do. Like that's that business model. And I've talked about that numerous times, right? So that is the plan for that. Now we just need to break it down and then execute it. What is that for you? Is it niche properties? If it is, then, well, if you're listening to this, you probably already know the steps. Then do the steps. If you want to do something else, right? If you want something, whether it's business or not, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get, in better shape, the path to get there most likely, go ahead and then just set those little mini goals for the year. But you need to identify that. All right. Now, the story I wanted to share with you was that I said earlier isn't about business, but it is relatable because it's the same idea. So my daughter is 13, going to be 14, by the way. And whenever she goes to one of these events that you're having people come in from all over the country, like California, Texas, New York, like just everywhere, like all over. So when you get to see the caliber of play and then you see where you are, you're like, okay, I know where I need to improve. I know that that's what I want. Right. And so why I'm sharing this with you is because sometimes you need to get around people that are into that thing. Right. If you're with people that aren't interested in, well, I'll give you an example. So my other daughter, who is a full-time RVer as of right now, they have little, communities and people that they hang out with that are into RVing, right? So they're all going to be all excited about it, and they're going to talk about it, and they're going to share what they're doing and what they've done and tips and tricks and all of this stuff. And that's what that's their little community. That's their little club, right? Well, the same thing goes for if you're in beach volleyball. If you're in beach volleyball, you surround yourself with beach volleyball players and people that are devoted and dedicated, and they want to get better. Then you're going to be surrounded with those people. It's going to probably push you to be better, right? Same thing goes with building niche properties. If you want to be around people building niche properties, Brand Creators Academy is the place to be, because that's what we do. We build niche properties and we build out sites with content, and we do all of that stuff. And then we share tips and tricks, and we keep each other accountable and all that stuff. So you get where I'm going. Surround yourself with like-minded people is going to help you in that journey. Okay. So let's go ahead and wrap up this Monday mindset. I know I said I was going to keep it short, but here we are going on a little bit longer. Here's the deal. You got a little bit of homework. I would sit down for an hour and I would do everything that I just shared with you, and I'll kind of break it down for you. Reflect. Okay. Do the reflection of last year. Okay. The last year. And I mean 2021. Okay. And just reflect on it. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What do you want to change? Okay. What do you want to improve? Okay. Write down those things. Then from there, figure out what it's going to be for you to look at 2022. What does it look like for you? Where do you want to go? What do you want to focus on? What will you enjoy working on? What is the growth goal? What is the number? If there's a certain number that you want to hit, write it down. What's that number? Then what we need to do is we need to plan. We need to create the planning, the roadmap, the blueprint, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to go ahead and execute it. Okay. So that's it. That's your homework. No pressure. Just sit down, relax, get a nice hot beverage or cold beverage, whatever you want. Relax and sit down and do that exercise. I do that every single year. And sometimes I do it multiple times a year because sometimes it changes throughout the year. It evolves. And the other little tip here is make sure that you get around people that are like-minded. It's really, really powerful when you do that because you feel as though, number one, you're inspired, you're motivated. And when you feel like, I don't know if I feel like doing this today, usually you're going to have someone there that's going to go, come on, let's go. We're going to the gym, or come on, let's go. We got to get that piece of content done, right? Or, hey, come on, we got to go. Some more box jumps. We got to be able to jump higher in beach volleyball, like whatever it is. Okay. It's just really, really helpful. All right. So guys, that's it. That's your Monday mindset. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you want to join me on one of these live coffee talks, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. There's a little player there with some past coffee talks as well. And you can join the email list there. And I'll send you, some tips, tricks, and, you'll be part of the Coffee Talk crew here. All right. So, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action. I'll talk to you soon. Cut. All right, guys. What do we got here? What's up, Derek? Oh, I didn't even ask. Someone said my audio is cutting out. Anybody else? Is my audio okay? I didn't even look at the audio to make sure that I was connected. Oh, let's see. Yeah, it looks like my Rodecaster Pro is hooked up, so I think I should be good. Let's see. Yeah, so Derek says time is so precious. We need to learn how to optimize it to our advantage, especially those who have day jobs. Yes. Biggest problem, we start and then we stop and then we lose focus and shiny objects of interest. I'm bombarded with all kinds of products, some good and some bad, just distractions. Add it to the day job. That really takes us off the goal. It's just a cycle of getting back on path again. Yeah, it is. Tom says no audio problems. Thank you, Tom. Audio was fine for me. Karen says it was pretty good. It jumped a couple times. Fine for me. Okay, cool. So sounds like it was good. All right, guys. So that is it. That is our Monday mindset. And I made it. I did it. I got back here on time. I wasn't sure if I was going to. We literally left Florida yesterday, Clearwater, at around 1 o'clock. We played in the morning, got done. We hung around a little bit, watched a couple matches, and then boom, we were out of there, 1 o'clock. And on our way back and got home last night about, just before midnight. So, yeah. But hey, we're here. It's Monday. It's going to be a great week. All right, guys. So, hey, make sure you do those exercises though, and get that plan, or that plan created for 2022. It's going to be fun. It's going to be an exciting year. All right. So that's it, guys. Take care. Like I said, take action. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys. Have a great day.